Hey everybody, Jake Billings with Cytrus Logic. Today I wanted to talk to you a little bit about what makes an effective communication strategy. Many times when you're trying to promote a service or a product or trying to communicate a brand message or an idea, you have to talk to people in a way that they understand. A lot of people will try to create a message, but it doesn't resonate with their audience because they're not speaking to the people in terms that they understand. Let me give you a quick example. If you were trying to sell tea to an old lady, somebody that's an old lady that's 60 or 70, and you come out with a message that's like, bro, this is the greatest tea that there is. You're gonna love this. It's ridiculous. That message probably isn't going to resonate with that particular demographic. Why? Because they don't speak like that. They're going to think, why are they calling me bro? Why is this? Why are they saying that the tea is ridiculous? It doesn't have any effect on that particular demographic. Because a lot of times brands will try and just throw out their message. This is what we want. This is what we're saying. And it doesn't matter if you accept it in that way. Our message is what our message is. And it's a really backwards way of doing things. So you have to look at, in order to have an effective communication strategy, you have to look at who your demographic is and how they communicate with each other and what that dynamic is like in that particular demographic. So what I've done here, to illustrate this point, I've taken a couple clips from How I Met Your Mother. And there's a particular character in there, his name's Brad Morris. And he's one of Marshall, one of the lead characters, friends from law school. And throughout the series, he kind of comes on and he uses some pretty interesting language, to say the least. But it illustrates the point of how people communicate within certain dynamics. So when he's talking to Marshall, he talks a certain way. When he's talking to women, he speaks a different way. So let's take a look at to see how he communicates with Marshall.
Oh, damn. Zucchini bread is redonkulous. This isn't weird, right? Sort of thought it might be, but it totally isn't. And BT Dub, you totally did not oversell the eggs Benny. Right? I mean, why can't two single bros go out and rock brunch Sunday morning style? Gets better. The foliage in Vermont this time of year is redonk.
Gracias, bromigo.
I got downsized 2 years ago. It's been rough. Going through a little bit of a depression.
We're gonna do Broadway bro style. What do you say?
Yeah! Objection, Your Honor, on grounds that this is redonk.
Overruled. Take it off.
Bro, Alanis Morissette rocks.
Totally.
Sweet, freebie muff tops. You're in environmental law. Marshall, you have a kid. How are you gonna provide for the little dude's future?
Bro, you got some chocolate on your chin.
Hey.
What, are you here to gloat?
No. Came here to thank you for reminding me why I got into law in the first place. To fight for the little guy. Which is why I said hasta la cia to my firm. I took a job at your firm, Bro Beans. Seriously, thanks for giving my soul a little redemption. And BT Dubs, that judge was an idiot. It's people like you, people with hope and vision and integ, that should be behind that bench making the calls.
Even if that's true, I'm still not sure that I can forgive you.
Would you object to an 11:15 brunch resi for two tomorrow at the Popover Pantry?
Okay, so do you see what he did there? What he's doing is he's using certain language to create a sincerity with Marshall, right? So he uses diminutive forms of words. Things like bro instead of brother, bro beans, bromigo, right? He's using these diminutive forms. Then he goes on to, in a hilarious fashion, he goes on to use these words more. He creates words of his own in a diminutive form. Like, for example, he's talking about Marshall being an environmental lawyer, and he goes, "You've got a little dude. How are you gonna provide for his future?" So instead of saying future, he says future. He's using the diminutive forms of, or his own diminutive forms of these words to create an intimacy, a sincerity with Marshall. Same thing he does when he's talking about, you gave my soul a little redemption, right? Or he asks if he wants to get a resi at the restaurant he was talking about, right? So he uses these diminutive forms to create this sort of intimacy or sincerity. You could call it maybe a type of love between these two individuals, right? Even the word redonk is in that category. So he uses it in a hilarious fashion, but he's using it to create this form of sincerity. Now let's go ahead and take a look at a different dynamic. In the next scene that I'm going to show you, Ted, another one of the main characters, I'm not sure how old Ted is in this scene, but let's just say he's 32 and he's dating a 20-year-old. And so there's a different dynamic here. It's a man and a woman, and somewhat of a romantic relationship, but there's a big age difference. So let's take a look and see how they communicate. Okay, so you saw what happened there, right? Ted is trying to date this girl that's in the millennial category, and he can't understand a word that she's saying. She uses different means of communication, like she talks about, I just tried to contact you on current popular social media site, and he has no idea what she's talking about. They like to eat different things. They like to travel in different ways. So if we were trying to communicate to these individuals or to their particular social group, we'd have to do it in a different way than what we would selling tea to old ladies, right? We have to, if we have a product or service that we're trying to market to them, in the case of Ted and his love interest at the moment, if we were trying to communicate to her, we'd probably talk in terms of adventure. Because she likes to go on roller skates. She talks about using the latest technology. Those types of things. So probably more of an adventurous type of a person. And so when we're communicating to that demographic, we probably want to use words that are more adventurous, right? If we were trying to communicate to Brad Morris, we'd probably talk more in terms of intimacy, friendship, love. Maybe, because those are the types of words that he uses, and so by looking at the words that he uses, we can determine what's important for that particular demographic. This is called in linguistics. This is called linguistic variation, right? The different words that are used between different social groups and different social dynamics. So we want to study those to be able to understand how to effectively communicate better with those particular groups that we want to reach. So, in order to have effective communication strategy, we have to look at the different dynamics between our demographics. How do they talk? How do they talk to each other? How do they talk to different people within those groups, right? So millennials, how do millennial men talk to millennial women? What words do they use? What variants do they use, right? How do women talk between women in that particular group? Right? How do women talk to people of a different social economic status? These types of things. So we want to do these studies to find out what words are appropriate to use and how to reach more effectively our demographic.